Do you love silly stories for kids? Why not consider joining our family? You can even get a very special message from one of your favourite silly stories for kids characters. Head over to the website to find out more. It's your support that helps us to continue to make exciting stories and more crazy content.
Did somebody say crazy?
Oh, Pimpin, no. One day, two little boys named Harvey and Reuben were sitting in their backyard. They were playing in the sandpit and they'd found themselves a couple of toy diggers. "Mine's bigger than yours," said Harvey. "But mine's stronger," said Reuben. The boys were playing and digging when all of a sudden they saw something out the corner of their eye. Reuben, did you see that teddy bear?" I did," said Reuben. Why is it moving?" I don't know."
Hey, boys.
Now it's talking. What's going on?"
Hey, boys. Nah, it's fine. All right, hang on. Let me show you something.
Who are you?" said Harvey.
I'm Teddywinkle.
"Oh, Teddywinkle? What are you doing here?"
Well, I saw you two boys playing with your diggers and I thought, that's a bit of fun, but why don't we make it really fun?
How are we going to make it really fun?" said Harvey.
Watch this,
said Teddywinkle. And Teddywinkle pulled out a little bag of dust. "What's that?" said Reuben.
Oh, this is growing powder.
"Growing powder?" said Reuben. What do you mean?"
Watch this,
said Teddywinkle, as he tipped a little bit of the dust on top of one of the boys' diggers. As he did, it got bigger and bigger and bigger until it was the size of a real digger. "Wow," said Reuben, "that's amazing."
And guess what?
said Teddywinkle. "What?" said Reuben.
It really works.
"What?" Reuben climbed up into the digger and sat at the controls. "It's a real digger!" "Do mine," said Harvey. Please.
All right,
said Teddywinkle. So Teddywinkle tipped a little bit of the dust onto Harvey's digger as well, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger until both boys had giant diggers in the middle of their backyard. Harvey climbed into his as well, and the boys sat looking at each other. "What should we do now?"
Let's go on an adventure,
said Teddywinkle. He found another truck in the sandpit and tipped some dust on it as well, and then he climbed into the driver's seat of the truck.
All right, boys, follow me,
said Teddywinkle. So the boys followed Teddywinkle in their big diggers out the backyard and onto the road.
"Whoa!"
said Teddywinkle as he was driving down the middle of the street. The neighbours came out to see what was going on. They could hear all the noise, and there was Reuben and Harvey waving at them from their diggers. "Hi, everybody," said Reuben. "Hi." "Hi," said Harvey. But as he said hi, he accidentally bumped one of the controls on his digger. "Oops," he said. His digger smashed a hole in the side of one of his neighbour's car. "Hey!"
All right, boys, let's get out of here.
Teddywinkle took off in his truck and the boys started racing off down the road as quickly as they could in their diggers. "Sorry," called out Harvey. "Come back here," yelled the neighbour. But the boys were already off on their adventure. They drove their diggers down towards the park and then they stopped in the middle of the oval. What are we doing here?" said Reuben. "Yeah," said Harvey. "Why have we stopped here?"
"It's digging time,"
said Teddywinkle. "Oh, okay." So the boys started to use their diggers to dig an actual hole in the middle of the oval down at the park. They were digging and having so much fun. "Look at me," said Reuben as he threw a bucket of dirt into the air. "Yeah, watch this one," said Harvey. He spun it sideways and flicked a whole bucket of dirt all the way across the oval.
"Ha, good job, boys. All right, hang on, see if you can load some into my truck. I want to do something."
Okay, said the boys. So they carefully did some digging and loaded it into the back of Teddywinkle's truck. Then Teddywinkle started driving around the oval towards the playground. "Teddywinkle, what are you doing?"
"Watch this,"
he said. He dumped a giant mound of dirt right next to the playground.
"All right, boys, let's do some digger jumping."
"Digger jumping," said Reuben. "You can't do that."
"Yeah, you can,"
said Teddywinkle.
"Watch this."
He took his truck and drove straight over the mound. He launched off the side. "Yahoo!" said Teddywinkle as his truck went flying through the air. "That's fine for you," said Reuben, "but you've got a truck. We've got diggers. Diggers don't go fast enough."
"Have you pressed the boost button?"
said Teddywinkle. "What do you mean the boost button?"
"Yeah, down near your leg."
"Oh, okay." Harvey looked and he saw the button. It was big and it was green and had a very happy face on it. "Oh, Happy smiley face green button? What could possibly go wrong, he thought. He pressed the button, but as he did, everything on the excavator got super fast. He tried to track forward, but as he did, he raced straight towards the jump, and he hit the jump and went flying over the top of the playground and into somebody's backyard. He landed in their pool. Sorry, said Harvey as the people came to the back door to see what had happened. He used the bucket to climb out of the pool and got the digger back on its tracks. Then he drove back towards the park. Really sorry, he said as he drove through their flower garden. Come back here! Reuben, meanwhile, was finding out what his green button did as well. He looked at it and he pressed it, and when he did, he made sure not to touch anything. All right, I need to be really careful, he said. I wonder if it can make the excavator dig faster. He started using the controls to make the excavator dig, and as he did, it started scooping buckets and throwing them everywhere. Ah, said Reuben, it's going too fast, I can't stop it. But before he knew it, he had dug a giant hole so deep. Conk! Ooh, what was that, said Reuben. He let go of the controls. Harvey came driving down in his excavator to see what was going on. He pulled up next to Reuben. What are you doing, Reuben? I hit something, he said. What was it? Said Harvey. I don't know. The boys climbed out of their diggers to have a look at what they had found. They got out, and in front of Reuben's digger was a big metal chest. What's in it? Said Reuben. I have no idea, said Harvey. Let's see. They looked at the front, and there was a big lock on it. Oh, we're not going to be able to get this lock off, he said. While they were talking, Teddywinkle came flying down into the hole in his truck. Whoa! He said as he was bumping down the sides. I'm out of control! Boys, get out the way! Said Teddywinkle. The boys dove out the way, and Teddywinkle crashed his truck straight into the big metal chest. Bang! As he did, the chest went flying through the air, but luckily, the lock came completely undone. And as it was flipping and flying, the chest opened right over the top of the boys, and inside was a little robot. It fell to the ground as the chest went flying off to the side of the tunnel. Whoa, said Reuben. Where did that come from? I don't know, said Harvey. Who would bury a robot this deep? They looked carefully, walking around the robot. They could see some kind of writing on it. What does it say? I don't know, there's some writing over this button. Reuben tried to rub the back of the robot to see what the writing said, and as he did, he accidentally bumped the button underneath it. Uh-oh, said Harvey. What? Why uh-oh, said Reuben. That writing says, do not push the button. Uh-oh. Push! Push, 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 push. The robot started to turn on and started spinning around in circles.
I am Destructobot 7000. I am here to destroy.
Uh-oh, said Teddywinkle.
Let's get out of here, boys.
Teddywinkle and the boys started running towards their diggers in their trucks to get away. But as Teddywinkle was running away, something fell out of his little pocket. It was the bag of dust. And it opened and sprinkled on the robot. Uh-oh, said Teddywinkle. The robot got bigger and bigger and bigger until a giant Destructobot came storming out of the hole. It raced up towards the playground and started kicking the slides and smashing all the climbing frames. We need to stop it, said Reuben. But how? Said Harvey. The boys jumped in their excavators and started racing off after the robot.
Hey, boys, I've still got a little bit more dust. Let's use it.
Okay, said the boys. So they put more and more dust on their diggers to make them bigger and bigger and bigger until their diggers were ginormous. They climbed out of the hole and Harvey started to yell, Hey, Destructobot! The robot turned around.
Who is calling my name?
It's me! Come back over here!
Why would I do that? I need to destroy.
See if you can destroy us, said Reuben. Yeah, said Harvey. So Destructobot came storming back over to the oval, and the boys were ready. All right, you ready for this, said Harvey. Definitely, said Reuben. You go high and I'll go low. As the robot raced towards them, Harvey swung his bucket high up towards the robot's chest, and Reuben spun his bucket low towards the robot's legs. They both connected, and the Destructobot flipped up in the air.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Its arms and legs went crazy, and it was trying to stand up. But as it did, smoke started pouring out from everywhere.
Destructobot into overload. Destructobot into overload. Activating self-destruct sequence.
Self-destruct sequence, said Harvey. Run! The boys and Teddywinkle raced away from Destructobot as quickly as they could. They zoomed off in their excavators as far from the oval as they could, and as they got back out to the street, they heard... Oh dear, said Harvey. We are going to be in big trouble, said Reuben.
We should probably try and fix this before we go home.
But how are we going to fix it?
Well, what do you think would have happened when Destructobot exploded in the middle of an empty oval?
He probably made a giant crater, said Harvey.
Exactly,
Said Teddywinkle.
And what are you driving?
Diggers, said Reuben. We can fix it.
We can fix it.
So, Teddywinkle and the boys drove the excavators back to the oval. Then they used them to dig all the dirt back into the giant hole that Destructobot had created. They smoothed it over and they made it nice. They even used their excavators to try and put the playground back together. It didn't quite look the same, but with all the playground equipment in new locations, it actually made it really fun. So the boys tracked their excavators all the way back home. As they were getting close, the dust started to wear off, and the diggers got smaller and smaller and smaller, until the boys were sitting on two tiny little plastic toy diggers. Their mum came out the front door and saw what they were doing. "Boys, what are you doing?" she said. "Well," said Harvey, "I don't think you'd believe us, even if we told you." And that is the end of the story.
This episode is brought to you by Teddywinkle's Destructobot 7000. If you want a toy that's really, really fun until it explodes and blasts everything everywhere and destroys your whole toy room, get yourself a Destructobot 7000 from me, Teddywinkle. They're the best. We hope you've been enjoying Silly Stories for Kids. This has been me, Teddywinkle.
Hey, we're going to take a short break for the school holidays so that I can spend some time with my wife and my 4 little girls. I hope that everyone has a fantastic school holidays. If you need something to listen to, why not go back and check out some of the old stories on Silly Stories for Kids? Do you know this is our 66th episode? I wonder if anyone can listen to every single episode between now and the end of school holidays. Ooh, who knows? All right, well, this has been me, Sam. We'll see you soon.